Welcome and good morning to Mike Ferry TV. It's nice to have you with us again. As some of you that have been watching on a regular basis know, for the last 3, probably close to 4 years now, I've spent almost 100% of the time, whether it be doing a seminar, a workshop, or retreat, through our coaching programs with all of our coaches, the messages that I send out to all of our clients daily. Everything I've been talking about is how do we help each of you become a better, stronger, or just become a listing agent. Because I think the one thing that's become very clear, and it should be clear to you whether you're a new licensee or an experienced veteran, is that listing agents are the ones that control the marketplace in every case. I was on the phone this morning with a great agent down in Florida. This agent has 75 active listings. He takes 18 to 20 listings a month. He has 18 to 20 listings a month sell. He's a 200 plus deal a year producer, makes $1 million a year, does not show property to buyers. We have agents all over the country. We have a great agent in Southern California, 150 deals a year, hasn't had a buyer in his car in 4 or 5 years, 100% of his income comes from listing property. The problem is, and I think you know this, and we've defined it in the past, to become a good or great listing agent takes a much higher level of skill than it does to become a good, great showing agent. Why? Well, let's take this example. A week or two ago, I did a 4-day sales talk workshop in Riverside, California. We had 400 really great agents for 4 days. And we spent a lot of time discussing the fact, and you've heard me say this before, that to show property to a buyer really is a limited skill activity. I mean, if you can open the door and they walk in and like the house, they're going to buy the house many times in spite of what the agent says. So therefore, the skill level to show property is much more enticing to most agents who want to keep their income down, because the skill level of the listing agent is very defined and it has to be refined all the time. So if you want to become a great listing agent, you're going to have to learn a whole different skill set than an agent that shows property to a buyer. And we discussed these for 4 days. In fact, I think it's the week after next, or maybe it's next week, I'm doing a 4-day productivity school in Seattle, Washington. And we're going to have a couple hundred great agents there, and we're going to spend a lot of time helping them understand what the skills are to become a great listing agent. So a couple of days ago, I sent out an email to all of our coaching clients. And what I did is I listed 10 questions that I want them to answer. Now, the majority of our coaching clients are great agents, and those that aren't are soon going to become great agents because they're involved in learning certain skills. So what I said to them was the following: let's take the strength that you have in becoming a better listing agent to another level. And to do that, I want you to answer the following 10 questions. Now, I know, since we have thousands of people watching this each week, some of you probably are going to listen to these questions and say, what is he talking about? Well, if you're with us every week, you'll understand. But in the meantime, whether you understand the questions and the answers to the degree you should, take the time to watch this several times this week. Write all the questions down and answer them for yourself to see where your weaknesses are in listing property, where your strengths are, and what we have to build on to make you a great agent. So I sent them 10 questions that I wanted them to answer. Let me read them to you. Number 1, am I pre-qualifying every seller every time, asking all the questions with no exceptions? Or am I always creating exceptions? Well, Mike, this particular seller is a friend of mine. They're a neighbor. I don't have to pre-qualify. I know them already. Well, I want you to always think about this example. A doctor would never do that. An attorney would never do that. A pilot would never do that. And you have the opportunity as a real estate sales professional to certainly earn more money than any of those 3 professions if you're a great listing agent. Number 1, am I pre-qualifying every seller? Number 2 question I wrote down, am I mailing or delivering the MFO suggested pre-listing package on every presentation, not just the ones where I think it will help? We created a pre-listing package, non-ego based. that will help every seller make a decision a lot faster in picking you versus the competition. Are you using it every time, or do you just pick and choose when you're going to use it? Question 3, am I arriving 15 minutes early, getting mentally and emotionally prepared for the presentation, and reviewing my scripts before I walk up to the door? Am I walking up to the door prepared, physically, mentally, and emotionally to make a great presentation to that seller and get a contract signed? If you get there 15 minutes early, you can sit in the car, you can straighten your tie, you can make sure your makeup is fresh, you can read through your scripts 2 or 3 times to get in momentum, and then when you walk to that door, you're prepared to take a listing. Number 4, when I get inside the house, am I looking at the home by myself without the seller so I can get a better feel for the property itself? Almost every seller, when you get to the house, says, let me show you through. And of course, we ask all of you to smile and say, I'd like to look at the home by myself, as I want to see the home the way the buyer will see it the first time. And of course, what you're trying to avoid is walking through the house of the seller and having them sell you on everything they've done to try to push the price up. Number 5, do I ask the first 3 questions of the listing presentation as they're written, or have I changed them? Folks, what I'd like to do to start is ask you 3 very simple questions. Number 1, do you folks have to sell your home? Well, yes, we do. And number 2, do you want to price it to sell, or would you prefer to keep it on the market for a long time? Well, we're not sure we like your price, but we don't want to keep it on the market. Great, so we'll price it to sell. And number 3, would you like me to handle the contract and sale for you? If they say yes, watch, they sign the contract, the presentation is over. Why do you avoid those 3 questions? Because you shouldn't avoid those 3 questions. Question number 6, what portion of the scripts am I having the most trouble with, and what am I doing about it? Have you downloaded the listing presentation scripts? Are you guys using them? Are you and your broker, your manager, changing them because you're a little bit smarter at writing scripts than we are? Hey, we have thousands of agents using these scripts verbatim, and they're taking hundreds of listings all the time. Don't change the scripts. Number 7, since pricing is always an issue, it's always an issue. How strong am I on the pricing portion of the script and presentation? Folks, I'm going to again suggest a price of $395,000 for your house. Will you list your home at that price tonight? Well, we really do have to have $450,000. I can understand you having to have $450,000. But let me ask you a question. Based on the CMA and based on the activity, is it realistic for you to believe that you should get $450,000 for your home? But Mike, we've done a lot of things to the home and made our home better than our neighbors. I can appreciate that. Could you tell me what they are? Well, Mike, we've completely painted the inside of the home. So what you've done is you've spent what? $1,000, $1,500 having it painted, and you're looking for a return of $55,000? Is that realistic at all? And haven't, in essence, you just brought your home up to selling standard by having it prepared properly for the showing? If you don't understand the pricing script, you're in trouble before you start. Number 8, if I take a listing overpriced, am I setting them up for a price reduction while I'm on the presentation? We know for a fact that the majority of you are going to take it at a price a little higher than what you want. Are you preparing them for the fact that you have to bring the price down? That should be done during the presentation. Number 9, am I using the plan of action as a closing tool which gets the signature faster and easier? You know what's interesting? We still have, again, tens of thousands of agents that use that plan of action on every presentation as a closing tool if necessary. See, what you will probably find hard to believe, if you follow the pre-qualifying process, use the pre-listing package as we suggest, call back and confirm they've read the package, there's a good chance that they're going to sign that contract very quickly when you get to the house. But if they don't, you have a strong marketing plan to back it up. And then number 10, have I learned, practiced, and rehearsed the answers to the objections and questions they give so I can be more professional in my approach? If you have, guess what? Listing property is a fun experience. But if you haven't gone through this exercise and taken the time to learn this material, then listing property is going to be hard, because it is much more difficult to list property than to sell a home to a buyer. Watch, the person that lists the property controls the inventory and is the employer, and all the agents in town work for them. We want all the agents in town working for you because we're here to help you become a better listing agent. I know some of you I'm going to see next week in Seattle. I'm looking forward to that time. In the meantime, work on the questions, work on the answers, go list a home. Talk to you next week.